It's one of the biggest days in Vancouver, up there with Christmas, up there with Easter, up there with Halloween. It's 420. Happy 420 to all those who partake and even those who don't partake. One thing we know for certain, you're partaking in this episode of Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for hitting the play button on today's episode of Locked On Canucks. My name, Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. And before we dive into the show, we want to thank you for listening to Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, in today's show, in honor of 420, we're going to dish on, some of the best moments, the best 420 moments in Canucks history. We might even touch on, some of the best names in Canucks history. Definitely going to be a fun episode. Speaking of a guy who knows how to have fun, Kyle Bowen. How you doing, buddy?
Dude, every episode is fun. Dude, we're just fans talking about, I get it, Trevor got the media pass now, he's not a fan first, I get it, man. Every episode's fun, man. Every episode's fun for me, Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs, Locked On Canucks. Unfortunately, no comment corner at the end of this episode. We'll tell you why that's happening tomorrow. Save it for another day. My mind's all over the place. A little scrambled, embracing in what today is. And that's what we're known for. You know why this day is so important and even more important than it should be? Maybe I'm thinking way too deep about this, but it's because the Canucks have never won a Stanley Cup.
It may be, man. But like I said, this is a fun episode. So let's like every episode's fun, but let's not talk about the Canucks' failures. Let's just
No. Can I go there? Can I go there? I just want to talk about this. If the Canucks win the Stanley Cup, it's like what, June 17th, 2020. I'm gonna put it out there, 2024. Okay, just put it out there. Why not? Right? This show's for us. Let's just lead with love here. Okay. I think June 17th could be like the next 420 in the city. Every year, forever. What would you call it? We did it day. Or
actually makes sense. Get it? Weed. We did it day.
Oh, okay. All right, dude. Okay. All right. Let's start the show, man. Let's start the show.
Good stuff.
Okay. Nice, man.
Oh man. Well, for today's episode, I did pull a list of the 5 greatest 420 moments in Canucks history, and this is a mix of weed-related stories and just moments that happened on April 20th. So let's go to number 5. This is a weed-related moment. But Nikita Tryamkin, he did an interview with a Russian newspaper a few years back. You all are familiar with this. But he said that the city stinks like weed, and everywhere he walks in Vancouver smells like weed. Now, Kyle, I got to say, after weed was legalized in Canada in 2018, I noticed the same thing whenever I was downtown. Like, I almost couldn't go anywhere. There was actually one time. So often when I'm going down to Canucks games, I get off at the Yaletown Roundhouse Cannon Line station, and I do like a little 10, 15-minute walk to the arena. There was one time where, I kid you not, I did not go in my entire 10-minute walk, though, like catching a whiff of weed. And it wasn't me, man. I swear. It wasn't me. It was just the city and the people around me who were sparking up. So Nikita has a point, and I guess a guy coming from Russia probably wouldn't be used to that kind of smell hitting his nostrils.
And he has a right not to fuck with it. Let's be real, right? It's a smell. It could be a nuisance. It is what it is, and maybe it is one of the biggest reasons why he never wants to come back to Vancouver, and he left Vancouver. Right? Maybe he felt as if it was rude. I feel as if it only happens, like you're kind of hesitant. I can only speak for myself when like children are around, where you put the joint out or whatever. Speaking of which, if any children are listening to this with their parents, next episode. Okay, so I feel as if the children are the only time, or I'm like, yo, put the joint out, we're not smoking, And I feel as if that's universally known. But here we have Tryamkin being like, dude, why are we only thinking about the kids? You know what I'm saying? It's a nuisance for me too. Which is fair, man.
Yeah, that is the way it goes. All right, let's get to number 4 on the list. And Kyle, I think Alain Vigneault might have been smoking weed on this 420, but number 4 on my list is back in 2013, the Canucks beat Detroit 2-1 in a shootout. Whoop-de-doo. What a win. Who cares? But the reason why it was weird, Kyle, Max Lapierre scored the shootout winner. Why in the you-know-what is Max Lapierre in a shootout at all?
Why not, man?
This is a bizarre moment, man.
Damn, bro. I feel as if it happened because they were winning so much around that time. I know not in particularly that year. Was that the year we got swept by San Jose or lost in 5 games or something?
Yeah, that was the year we got swept by San Jose.
Yeah. Well, that's why we got swept. Like that was the mentality. Games didn't matter anymore. Real talk. We thought we were too good when we had to relearn the game and reinvent ourselves. And it's tough, that you speak about that 2013 team and just pretty much the next 2 teams after the 2011 run. So many of the core pieces were still intact, but for whatever reason, and we saw this with the Atlanta Falcons, right? It just hurts. It hurts. And then you see teams like Chicago and Pittsburgh take losses, and then Tampa Bay and Washington, and they still got, they got the dubs. They made it, but the Canucks could never really recover from that. Too much turmoil. You could argue that the team was a bit older as well, but just internally too, a lot of moving pieces right away. Again, right after the Canucks got to the Cup final. They truly got to the Cup final at the end of their window.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. What a crazy time, man. What a crazy time.
Sorry, I went there. My bad. But
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
It is what it is.
I'm gonna bring up another happy moment on my list here, and that is the Canucks forced Game 7 against the St. Louis Blues in the 2003 Western Conference Finals on April 20th. And Colin, I know this offseason you and I are gonna get into that West Coast Express era podcast and kind of give our thoughts, feelings, emotions, our breakdown of how we felt during that time. But this is a big series, man. The West Coast Express obviously didn't have many playoff successes, but can you imagine if they lost this series to St. Louis? And they were down 3-1 at one point, but they managed to come back, and it was on the heels of this 4-3 win against the St. Louis Blues back on April 20th, 2003. Do you remember where you were at that time, Kyle?
Yeah, of course I was a fan around that time, bro. That's where it really started, yo. That's where it really started. The year before this was the year it really started. And I feel as if the Canucks lost that series way back when, that was 03 to St. Louis, I'd be actually happier in life because that loss to Minnesota the round after was so bad. Like I feel as if I caught onto hockey really early, and I caught onto like the management side of hockey really early as well. And it was pretty easy to see that Minnesota sucked, compared to our team.
Yeah.
Straight up. We had the best players in hockey. It was sad, and we were up 3-1. We were close to play the Ducks. J.S. Jaguar and the Ducks, but here we were losing to Manny Fernandez and Dwayne Rollerson of the Minnesota Wild. Wes Walls, Darby Hendrickson. There's a guy named Darby Hendrickson.
Former Canuck Darby Hendrickson.
He wrecked my childhood. No, what are you talking about, bro? You know how sick that would have been?
That's the reason Kyle actually partakes in 420 activities is because of Darby Hendrickson.
No. Because of a broken heart, man. But that's for another show on the other network. Let's continue this, man. This is fun, man.
By the way, that name of the network, All Week with Kyle Bowen. Make sure you go check it out. What is it, KyleBowen.com? BHAWAN?
You can check it out on my website. Check it out wherever you stream podcasts. And hey, man, it's a Canuck show, dude. Why are you doing this, man? Again, you don't think about the people first, man.
You're my brother, man, and I want to give you that free plug. That's all. Okay, back to the list. Number 2 on the list of the greatest 420 moments in Canucks history. A player named Highmore made his debut for the Canucks on 420. Now that is special, Kyle. That's a special moment. You gotta love it. So for those who don't know, back in 2021, after Adam Gaudette gave the whole team COVID, he was traded for Matthew Highmore. And then Matthew Highmore made his debut for the Canucks on April 20th, 2021. A beautiful moment for the city of Vancouver in a forgettable season, mind you. The Canucks beat the Leafs 6-3 in that game. And, Travis Green, shout out to the Green. Travis Green was trying to get Highmore to score on 420. Like in the lost season, that was his goal because Matthew Highmore, he averaged less than 10 minutes a game in St. Louis. He comes to the Canucks, and in his debut on 420, played 50 minutes and 54 seconds. No one knew who this guy was, and he was playing, top 6 minutes. Travis Green wanted this guy to score on 420, 100%, man.
Oh, dude, 100%. He told his boys the games didn't matter at that point. Maybe he told a couple players too, like, yo, honestly, bro, because at the end of the day, Trevor, it's not really about wins and losses, right? It's about the moment. It's about the memories. It's about the people who are around you right now, the present, your neighbors, the people that you see in the physical world, not through the digital world. And when the games don't matter, you can go play those games and just dread going to the rink, dread living your 24-hour day because you have to go to the rink, or you can look for things to do, look at the brighter side and realize that there's still a lot of wins in front of us, maybe not on the ice, but in the moment. And again, Travis Green was like, dude, I'm going to do this for the group chat. I'm going to do this for the group chat. I'm going to tell the group chat, yo, watch this. They're going to be like, well, what are you talking about? I'm going to play this new guy, 15 minutes. He's never played this much in his life, only because his name is Matthew Highmore, and he's debuting in Vancouver or for the Canucks on 420. Just, that's cool, man. That's producer stuff, that's controlling the narrative. And Travis Green, cool name too. Shout out to Travis Green on this day, man. Shout out to Travis. How do we? Yo, come on, man. This whole episode should have been dedicated to Travis Green. What happened with Travis Green? Where it went wrong?
Yeah, again, I want to have some fun on today's episode. I don't want to rehash, the failures of the Travis Green era. So, but on the other side, I think I do want to talk about some of the coolest names in Canucks history. And of course, we got to get to number one of our list of the greatest 420 moments in Canucks history. But before we do that, Kyle, I need to tell you about Built Bar. And if you listen out there, if you got the munchies today and you want to, munch away, but do so eating in a right way, you got to try Built Bar. Because you know what? Again, when you have Built Bars, you're not compromising the taste. Healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, Built Bars are so delicious, you won't think that they're good for you. So what makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they are covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right. Real chocolate. And they come in unbelievably good flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie. Yo, how could you say no to a little peanut butter brownie? And Built also has coconut almond too. Not as much my thing, but maybe it's your thing. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. You can order your favorite flavor of Built Bars today at built.com.
Wow, dude, that was really smart, man. Because it makes sense. A lot of people out there, they're scared of the munchies, I'm sorry, and they look to, the reason why they have the munchies as the reason why they're having trouble, with the junk food and whatnot, right? But you shouldn't be blaming the grass. You should be blaming the grocery list. No, throw some oranges around you, have some almonds around you. I know. They're not Doritos. But when you have munchies, you're looking for something to eat, dude. The almonds smack, dude. You know what I'm saying, bro? It'll still, things will happen. Locked On Canucks, Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs. I can't wait to hear what the number one 420 moment is in Canucks history, because I have no idea where you're going with this, because the last one should have been number one.
Oh, yeah, this one might be a bit of a cop out, so feel free to get mad at me in the comments. This isn't a day for getting mad, but that's okay. But number one on my list is the Canucks named John Garrett, their color commentator. We had a color commentator named Cheech, Kyle, in the city of Vancouver for 20 years. How is that not the greatest 420 moment in Canucks history?
What? No, he started in April 20th?
No.
Oh.
No. He started prior to the 2002, 2003 season. But just the fact that the city of Vancouver had a color commentator named Cheech for 2 decades. Pretty impressive stuff, man. Pretty impressive stuff. And it would only happen in Vancouver.
Yeah, sorry to just blow the moment there by thinking you were alluding to the fact that it might have all happened on the actual date itself, 420, even though that's not the case. You're 100% right. The dude calling or helping call the games, doing the color, doing the fun things in life. His name was Cheech. I've been
And
trying to get
Cheech had.
No, finish it because you're talking about Cheech. I was about to talk about myself. Let's spend some time on Cheech. What you had to
I was
say?
gonna say, ironically, Cheech had an affection for burgers and hot dogs and ketchup. So
Yo, dude,
it's
you can't
perfect,
be
man.
doing that, man. You gotta think about the children, dude. Come on, man. You gotta think about the children right there, man. That's a dangerous one right there. It is what it is. No, that's so cool, man. Like how his nickname was Cheech, and just saying it, imagine actually being a friend of John Garrett and being able to call him Cheech. Yo, Cheech, how's it going, Cheech? Yo, you know what I'm saying? That's just a different level of life. I wish I had a cool nickname, man. I've been wishing for it for the longest time, but none of my homies can get it right.
Well, I feel like
What?
they're
What
all
is?
the nicknames I know about you are just like based on your last name. Like, when you're in like your DJ mode, you're Funk Bowen. I've seen you at Halloween dressed up as Billy Ray Cyrus, and you were Billy Ray Bowen.
Remember that one? That's a classic.
That's a classic, exactly.
I took the
There's
Sky
also
Train. Dude, I took the Sky Train up and down as Billy Ray Bowen, and people were loving it, man. We had the guitar, we're playing music, Shout out to the people, man. Shout out to your neighbors. Shout out to Surrey. And again, just really listen right here. Really listen, okay? Shout out to your neighbors. Continue, Trevor.
I was thinking your other nicknames, Flex Bowen, when you're flexing the guns.
Oh,
And in honor of 420, there's also Bong Rip Bowen.
oh, okay, dude. Come on, man. We don't play those games anymore. We got podcasts to make, man. Locked on Canucks, your team every day. I think about the people, so we don't play games like that. You gotta know you don't push them. You don't push them. Not at this age, bro. Not at
I
this.
was just gonna say, in honor of 420, maybe let's keep having a little bit of fun and maybe just talk about some of the names that have stood out to you most in Canucks history. Like, what are some of the most fun and unique names among players that we've seen in a Canucks uniform? And I feel like the commenters can help us out more with this, rather than just some ones off the top of our head. But Kyle, maybe I'll throw it to you first. Like, who stands out to you among some of the most fun names in Canucks history?
Oh, I love the name Jarkko Ruutu.
Yeah. How do you not go with Jarkko Ruutu?
That should be a strain. What are you smoking? The Ruutu. Yo, maybe. Who knows? Such a cool player too, man. Because he was the ultimate POS. And I feel as if he had a longer stint with the Sedins, I don't even know if he had like more than one game with them, but I just feel as if he could have been a Burrows.
Yeah, he was such
exactly
a POS fed.
But just, yeah, he wasn't bad at hockey too. There are things in his game that, it made you realize that, okay, I get why the Canucks picked him where they picked him, and Jarkko Ruutu, good guy.
Yeah, we've been spending this episode talking about the greatest 420 moments in Canucks history. Jarkko Ruutu tripping Dion Phaneuf was probably like the greatest moment in Canucks history.
Wow, let's not lie. It's like definitely one of the greatest memes in Canucks history. It was a meme.
Oh man, that was a meme before memes were a thing.
Yeah.
Like that clip is just it's so gold, man. That's great stuff. Yeah, I think some of the other names that stand out to me, I always think of the name Bobby because I know you've said to me before that you want to name your kid Bobby Bowen.
Double B.
Bobby Schmotz. Bobby Schmotz. Canuck in the 1970s. Yeah, what a great name. And another one stood out to me, Yuri Bubla from the 1980s. I might go have a Bubla from the fridge after we finish
this
episode.
That's where you went with that one, right? That's what you meant. Okay, so what was the one you said before? Schmaltz or whatever? What were we talking about? We were talking about the meme, Phaneuf, Ruutu. I had a point to make, but here I was. I lost it, man. It's one of those days, man. It's one of those days.
Hey, it is 420 after all. So, if you want, Kyle, why don't we do the next ad break here, and then we're gonna wrap up with the Cam Neely former Canuck of the week. Again, there's 13 former Canucks right now in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I'm gonna give one of them a shout out on the other side on Locked On Canucks. But first, for a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is the perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So next time you need parts and accessories.
Whoa, dude.
Whoa. Head to eBay Motors. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, woo, you can be sure every part you need fits right. Who wrote this
No, you.
Oh,
This
man.
is great.
You can be sure every part fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to my garage and look for the green.
What? What's so funny here, man? This is great, man. eBay Motors, man.
It's all me, man. It's all
You
me.
you need something for your car? eBay Motors. For real.
Yeah.
Fans not working? eBay Motors. They probably got air fresheners too. eBay Motors.
They probably do. And the way you can find out is by going to eBay Motors. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right price on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I love how the tagline is "Let's ride," and you have to say it. Seattle Seahawks fan over here, and he just has to.
That was.
Come on, man. If I was a real Seahawks fan, bro, I'd never say that line. I'd say eBay. I'd send it back to them. Give me something else. Give me something else to say. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I have no soul, man. If they pay us to do the ad read, I will do the ad read. Although that might have been the worst ad read I've ever done. So apologies to eBay Motors. Maybe go help us out, but go check it out, ebaymotors.com.
I feel as if you still have a soul, man. You know, I know, dude.
Thanks, buddy.
You're a father, man. Okay, you got. Come on, man. Different level of life. You know what matters more than others. Shout out to you, Trevor Beggs.
Thanks, buddy. I do appreciate that. All right, I have the Cam Neely former Canuck of the week here, and I'm going to give a shout out to Luke Shen of the Toronto Maple Leafs, which sounds weird because, you know, last time the Toronto Maple Leafs had played a game, they lost 7-3 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hey, Kyle, your prediction is looking all right. You said Tampa is going to win the series, so you're looking good. But one of the reasons I'm shouting out Luke Shen, of 4 Leafs who actually just won on a night where, again, the Leafs just shellacked. The only other Leafs to finish with the +1 were Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and Kelly Yarncroke. So Luke Shen, the only Leafs defenseman to finish with the +1. What am I saying here? Is that the Leafs suck aside from Luke Shen. So Luke Shen, congratulations. You're a Cam Neely former Canuck of the week, and go Lightning go.
Yeah, well, shout out to Luke Shen, man. I feel as if he's going to always be a favorite based on so many reasons, right? He was a good Canuck, but more notably because he always stood up for Quinn Hughes. And that mattered. If it wasn't going to be him, who was it going to be? Exactly. And he did it for the city, for the people, and yeah, more importantly, his friend. But I got to appreciate that because Quinn Hughes is... Yeah, I feel we're going to do this more and more. And again, this don't matter. This don't matter at all. This, disclaimer, again, this don't matter. Because at the end of the day, we're just lucky and so fortunate to have 2 guys like Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. Who's better? Who's more important? Those are, those type of conversations. They can get kind of extreme, but they can only get extreme because it's such a great question to ask. I feel as if both of them are just so unique and so above most of their peers, and they've shown it for a handful of years playing in a really weird organization. The structure of the organization, so much dysfunction around it, everything from a major outbreak as well, on top of just all the hockey BS that they've been pulling. Yet they've been able to hold it together, be true pros, and excel at a time where there's so much skill around them. When Hughes and Pettersson, we're lucky, man. I'm grateful. I'm grateful on this 420, man, for real.
Yeah, I'm grateful for Hughes and Pettersson. And Kyle, I know that both you and I are grateful for you for tuning into this episode of Locked On Canucks. Again, shout out to the everydayers, those who join us all along. I was going to try to use Let's Ride there, but I stopped myself. Thank God for that, man.
Come on, man.
But shout out to the everydayers. If it's your first time listening, we know you're a stoner because it's 420 and you just clicked on an episode called The Greatest 420 Moments in Canucks History. But regardless, if you enjoy the herb, if you don't enjoy the herb, we love you and appreciate you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. I'm not sure if we're going to get to it on Friday, but certainly next week we're going to start going through our player reviews for the Canucks this season, hand out some letter grades, and that's definitely going to eat up a couple weeks of content for us. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. 420 or not, we don't know when you're listening, But what we do know is that my name is Trevor Beggs, that guy's name is Kyle Bowen, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks, your team every day.
Peace, 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 peace.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.